in a workshop setting, we usually have about 10 to 20 participants, and we all sit in a circle. And there's a space next to me so that whoever's ready to come and set up their constellation on their issue, then they're welcome to come and sit down. And so then we start. And once I've defined the person's issue with them, then I will also ask them to choose someone in the group to represent perhaps their mother or their father, whoever I have a sense of that we need to start with. And when I say a sense, it's because I'm actually tapping into that living energy field, and all information is stored there. So I get a good sense. We set up that person, and that means that the lady that I'm working with, for example, will intuitively choose someone in the group, and she'll gently place her hands on their shoulder and then allow herself to be moved. And Bert Hellinger, who developed this work, actually calls it to be moved by a spirit-mind movement. So these are movements of the soul, and they're always slow. And so this lady will move the representative that she's chosen in the group somewhere into the space that's within the circle. And when she's found that space where this person needs to stand, she will then remove her hands from their shoulder and then sit down. And all these movements are done slowly and with great love and integrity. And if I sense other representatives are needed, this is also the time that my client will then go and choose other people in the group to represent those family members. Then the client can sit down and just take distance, actually take stock, sit next to me, and we actually just observe and we watch the movements that come to the representatives. This is where constellation work, tapping into the energy field, is truly a phenomenon, and also extremely experiential. Hard to put into words. Simply watching and observing the representatives, and also these representatives they become the client's mother, they become the client's brother, for example. And they often have gestures that are so accurate and so the same, where the client sits there and is extremely surprised, and there's a shift in perception as each representative can report on feelings or sensations that come up for them that are often very true to life, to how the client has experienced her mother in her lifetime. And what we're working with is to resolution. So with powerful healing statements that I ask certain family members to say to each other, I'm bringing together what was separated for the client. So we're looking at the root cause of their symptom, which may have been a miscarried child, for example, that was never grieved for, that the mother never had the time or the opportunity to grieve deeply for. Now this miscarried child, for example, needs to be included back into the family system to have his or her right place. So even if beloved family members are deceased, they still have a right place in the family system. And this is where Bert Hellinger's orders of love come into play. He discovered then when living with the Zulus in the younger years of his life, he's now 86, born in Germany, lived with the Zulu communities in Africa, and discovered the orders of love, one being the right to belong, the second order of love, precedence in the family, and the third, the balance between giving and taking within families. And from this he discovered what we call the family system, that when there is an imbalance, when someone has not got the right place in the family system, then someone in the next generation will take that place to achieve balance. And that is played out in symptoms, emotional health, and often financial issues, for example, in business, the demise of businesses and the rise and fall of success in life, all relates back to a disorder in our family system.
Okay, well, I'm understanding it more now. Can you give me an example of what you would call a healing statement?
Sure, Sonia. One healing statement that I'm often needing to ask a client to say to their mother is that I am small and you are big.
Okay.
And this particular healing statement sounds very simple, but has a profound effect, because very often in constellations, what comes up is that we see that children who have then become adults have had problems perhaps with depression for most of their life and have not been able to find resolution. And in the constellation, it's shown that the hidden dynamic that's been occurring is that this child, become an adult, has always had to take the role of being a parent and has become bigger and almost like in some ways more superior than their own mother.
And so now you've made that statement, what would naturally occur next?
What would naturally occur next is that we often see that the client is able to breathe deeply for the first time in their life, and a huge weight is lifted off their shoulders. And we also ask them to bow towards their mother, just a gentle bow, so they physically stand up in front of the representative who's been chosen to be their mother. They bow in front of them in honour of the greatness of mother. And through this, the hidden dynamic, why they've had to take on this, what we call parentification role, is often because the mother has experienced things in her female lineage that has made her stay very childlike and unable to stand up and become an adult in her life. And to achieve balance, her son or daughter has taken over that similar role of being the parent. So that is where the order in the family system is looking for rebalancing and putting into order. Then we find this particular client I worked with, this is a live example that I'm giving you, called me a month later to say she is no longer needing any antidepressant medication and has found resolution, feeling a lot happier in her life. So this is how it has worked for her.
It really sounds like this work brings a lot of value into someone's life. Tell me, Barsha, how are you intending on bringing this work into Wellington so that more people can hear about it?
I'm offering private sessions at the Pink House in 609 Marine Drive, Days Bay. I also offer introduction evening courses, which are 2 hours long, and on my website, www.soulcarenz.com, in the events page, you will see when my next upcoming workshop is on. In early October, I'm bringing Frank, a colleague of mine from Frankfurt, Germany, over, and together we'll be doing a weekend family constellation workshop, 7th to 9th of October. The Friday evening, starting at 6 till 9 o'clock, is also open to the public. So if anyone is curious, would like to experience this phenomenal work, is welcome to join in for those 3 hours and can register on my website. I also do sessions on Skype, telephone, and private sessions using little figurines instead of members of the group to be representatives. And this work is just as effective. And the other thing is, you may wish to join my Lightworkers Forum, held monthly, bringing together like-minded people. All details on my website. Thank you very much, Sonia. It's been a pleasure talking to you today.
And thanks to you, Barsha. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope our listeners have as well. And I look forward to coming along to one of your workshops, because I know that as far as personal growth is concerned, I'm always in for that, and I know this would help me a lot. So it's really great. Thanks for coming and sharing your information with our listeners and with me as well.